Welcome to Fog on Fire, a podcast about reflection, faith, grit, and getting back up. In every episode, host John Carpenter sits down with someone who's walked through the hard stuff, held onto their faith, and found something real on the other side. It may feel like it, but you are not alone in your journey. The fog lifts, and the fire remains. And there is another side, so let's have a conversation.
Hey everybody, it's John Carpenter with Fog and Fire. Today I have Daren Douglas. Daren's joined me before, but Daren, you are very open about your faith, and you're very open about helping people. What got you there?
A lot of challenges. Like the divorce is really where it started. The challenges started.
Okay.
I was married for 7 years. I think 2013, and divorce started in 2020. That was like the year of hell.
Yeah.
For a lot of people. Many divorces started that year, I believe.
Yes, they did.
And looking back at all the things that I had in my marriage and all the things that I would no longer have, realized it was a time to rebuild differently.
Okay.
I was a corporate manager at the time, very much married to my job too, and if you're married to your career, your marriage is going to suffer a little bit too. It doesn't get not as much as attention as it should.
Yep.
And I also lost that job with the railroad about the same, just months before my divorce began. So that was a wake up call. I remember why I left the railroad and why we separated that career, because they offered me a job in Tennessee. I knew my wife wouldn't want to do it. So I turned it down, and they offered a severance. That was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I had a little bit, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. 6 months later, a year later, that was just the start. But I knew that phone call would change the course of my life. That 1 3-minute phone call, mid-August 2019, that was going to change my life.
How long were you at the railroad?
That was 7 years.
7 years. Wow.
That was
okay. So you built that up. It was something real.
Oh man, I loved that job. I was making a lot of money. I was the youngest managers in my position in the history of the railroad, I think.
Yeah.
So it was going really, really well for me. But that's where all my energy was going. So it should go well.
Yeah.
I put all my energy into that job, and I realized, and when it left, I realized, what do I have now?
Yeah.
Like,
well, you had your family.
I had my family.
Right.
I had my family for 6 more months in the state it was. But a lot of other things happened there too, where my wife at the time, her sister passed away in September.
Okay.
And now I was a faithful man. I was practicing the Catholic faith during my marriage. We were married in the Catholic Church, but I wasn't on fire for it.
Yeah.
I had no ability to process what was happening. I thought I was like I was a strong manager, and but there were things in the marriage that I was neglecting. There were things at home that I was neglecting. There was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of stress.
Mm-hmm.
And because I wasn't on fire in my faith, I went to more secular things also for help. I remember going to therapy, doing marriage counseling. I don't recommend marriage counseling.
No.
I don't recommend it at all. All you do is just stew over problems.
Yeah.
And then you walk out of there and there's still problems. So.
And they bring up problems or you bring up problems you didn't even know was a problem.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it. Sorry, marriage therapists. I recommend going to church with your wife and praying.
Yeah.
So I went to secular therapy, learned about meditation, and got into some yoga and all these things while I was still practicing the Catholic faith. We know those things now. I know those things now don't intertwine. And what I realized, what I was doing with secular healing instead of faith-led healing, is that I was focusing on me.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yep.
It is yoga and meditating, and
unless you're meditating on the word.
Right. So, now, meditation is a form of prayer, and I
Yep.
do still meditate. I'm grateful for that experience because a secular therapist got me into meditation, so I'm much more efficient at praying now.
Yeah.
So grateful for that. I think the enemy hates the fact that I went into meditation and use it for prayer now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I even have a Buddha tattoo. That's really weird. Around all my Catholic tattoos, I have a Buddha tattoo. So that's
From that time frame.
From that time frame. Yeah. So that's a reflection of where I was. And, there's all sorts of different like energy healing and things that I was getting into. And I realized it was really all about me. And that's not, you really have to learn how to die to yourself if you're going to be successful in marriage, if you're going to be successful in business, if you're going to be a successful parent, die to yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of the secular culture nowadays is very selfish.
Yeah.
You can tell. Like, what's the next peptides?
Yeah.
You'll feel great. What's the key word? You are doing, I don't even know what peptides do, but I hear it's a
you will feel great.
Yeah. When really, there are so many things that I could have done a lot more efficiently, like fasting. It's free and it's cheap.
Yeah.
Reset your body with fasting. Go to prayer, I use adoration. I go to mass a lot more often now.
Yep.
And I realize in this period of my life, I'm so much more resilient because of those things. And the secular healing and therapy and self-focused healing, there were ups and downs. But now as I lean further into the Catholic faith, I realize like, yeah, you're going to suffer, but you'll know you have a purpose for that suffer.
Yeah.
That suffering was given to you as a gift to sanctify you. And that's been a real eye-opener from 2020 until now, is the fact that that faith has got me a lot more resilient. And I've been able to reflect on my own personal behavior. I was just thinking about the sacrament of confession and how important it is to go to. I go weekly now, which is way overboard than what you should be doing.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, it's cheaper than therapy. It's only a few minutes a week. And
you got somebody to listen to.
You got someone to listen, and he's heard it all too. So there's a point where the priest can give you some advice as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good, sometimes it isn't.
Now, do you do face to face, or
I look a man in the eye and tell him what I did wrong?
Yep.
I think that creates more character as well.
Yeah. It means you have to face your own thing.
You got to look another human in the eye and tell them the really intimate parts of your life. And then that feeling is that, okay, you're forgiven. Do 3 Hail Marys. Wait.
Yeah.
Did you just hear what I said? Like, I only do 3 Hail Marys and I'm forgiven. Like, are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah.
But it's so scary at first, so scary. And I realize why people don't want to do it. But after a few times, you're like, oh wow, I don't have to carry this.
My first confession, actually, I was struggling with it. I wasn't sure what to do, right? And, just getting baptized recently, there's a thing that I've always done. I write about reflections on my life, and then I put them out there for people to read. And I think I shared that with Father Rob, but when I struggled with what I was going to say from the first confession, because I hadn't done it. It was 52 years of sin, basically, right? And so I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be in there for like 45 minutes, and so he finally was like, why don't you just write down, reflect on what you want to write down, pray on it, write it down, and then give it to me and I'll destroy it. And which is, I'm also very big into writing down the struggles and destroying them, right? Because then it's gone, you've taken it. So when he said that to me, I was like, man, that's huge. Like, to me, like, that's like, it like hit home. And then I went in, I did the confession. I was like, here you go, sir. I handed him the paper, and, he gave me my penance, and my penance was reflecting. And I'm like, what? Like, this is like, I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying God was delivering me something that I already do to do more of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, it was so helpful. I was so fearful of it, but you said it's not easy, but at that point, it seemed easy because it was stuff I was already doing.
Yeah.
And
the more regularly you go too, like, people ask me, what could you possibly do in a week that requires you to go to confession? Not much, but something will bubble up in my heart, like, oh, I did that when I was 17 years old, and I've never really talked about it.
Yeah. Or something compounds too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you got divorced, you have a couple kids, and then you kind of became on fire, right, with the faith. When did that happen?
I think during my divorce, while I was still searching for healing in the secular world, there's one thing I was doing after the gym every morning when I drove to my day job. I worked for Amazon. Was I did a rosary in the car every day, and I think that it's a meditation, right?
Yep.
Focusing, pray a whole 50 Hail Marys, but you're focusing on the life of Christ.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot. It gives you a different perspective. I didn't know it at the time, but I was just thinking about that as I sat down, like, where did it start? And the fire start. Well, so I've been to Catholic school all the way up till 12th grade. But I think when I sat in my car and I did those rosaries every day, that planted a little bit seed. And so you're focusing on the life of Christ. However, you're calling for Mary's intercession. And I think a lot of people don't know that resource of Mary is available to them.
Yeah.
Like, there may be, there's a femininity about Mary that this world needs.
Yeah.
That, I think a lot of men and women are lost because they don't know Mary deeply or intimately.
Right.
When you say all those Hail Marys, you start to wonder, like, what was so special about this person?
Yeah.
And this person, Mary, leads everyone to Christ. I'm not worshiping her. I get to talk to her every day. And remember, Jesus' first miracle was because Mary said, it's time.
Yeah.
Do as he says.
Yep.
So she's been really special to me. And my first tattoo at that time was Saint Joseph. I got the most chaste heart of Saint Joseph. He's my favorite saint.
Mm-hmm.
That's Mary's husband and Jesus' foster father. The fact that he says nothing in scripture and it was just mentioned a few times says a lot about him, because it wasn't about him. He was the most humble man probably ever. He's raising the Son of God, and the most important job to give Jesus his masculine traits, and he's doing it quietly.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's humbling, right?
Very humbling.
Yeah.
So between Saint Joseph and Mary, the Holy Family, we have so much to learn about how a family should work and how even business should work by essentially offering up your service, as small or as big as it is. That's what so the rosaries, when it started, to wrap it up, and just caught on fire for all the saints and the church and all these sacraments.
Yeah, I sit in mass and I hear Father Rob and Deacon Mark that, from Our Lady of the Angels, they say, your religion, you shouldn't just spend that hour with Jesus, right? You just, Sunday, you come in because you have to do it, because you're told to do it, and then you go about your life, right? And one of the funny things for me is that every morning, I wake up, I pour my coffee, I get my breakfast, and I sit down, I turn on YouTube, and I watch at least one homily from either Father Mike Schmitz or from Bishop Barron or from someone else, sometimes two. And even if I have to leave early and I'm driving to go somewhere, I put it on in the car. So, I make sure that I'm spending 30 to 45 minutes at least every day. I don't necessarily always read the Bible, but I'm getting the verses, I'm getting the word through digital life, right? And I know you do a good job of the digital life. You share a lot about the faith and, of course, the gym, but I know you do it for health, but you do it for him. So tell me why the digital life has been important for you too, because you're on fire for it, but you're sharing it out there when people are afraid to do so.
I think from what I've seen on social media is a lot of argumentative behavior about who's right, who's wrong, what works and what doesn't, And the way I share it is like, hey, here's a prayer.
Yeah.
That's it. Hey, here's what I do. You can do it, you can like it or disagree with it, but this works. And I'm not gonna. People have wanted to debate me, about it, and it's like, no, I'm not gonna debate you. This is it. So
I think what you mentioned too, though, is there's a point where it is about it.
mm-hmm.
So going through OCIA, there was people who were debating going through OCIA. They're debating the word. They're debating, and I'm like, they're asking me, well, why don't you feel this way? And I said, it's my journey. I'm not in your journey. You're not in my journey. It's my journey.
Mm-hmm.
This is about and him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same situation. You're doing it for you, but you're doing it for.
It's a paradox, and that's the thing. The moment I tell you I'm humble, is the same moment I'm not humble, because I'm bragging about it,
right? Yeah.
So that's the thing that really is confusing and difficult to swallow, because you're on fire for your faith and you want to serve others, but it's a relationship between you and God. But the paradox is you're also doing it for you as well.
Yeah.
I still have a tough time working my brain around that. It's like it's the same paradox about how big the universe is and galaxies far away. I love that stuff. I'm a nerd about it. But at the same time, I'm having a paradox inside myself, understanding the humility of practicing faith and sharing my faith, because who am I doing it for? I'm doing it for me. However, because I'm doing this, my kids are going to grow up healthier, and hopefully I love the DMs that I get from people that are saying, hey, I changed this because of you. I said, oh, wow, that's cool.
If you can help one person, right?
Yeah. But then I get that feedback where like, it makes me feel good. So there's the paradox.
Yeah, but I think Jesus, God, I think that he wants you to feel good about what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're living the life that he wants you to live. And I tell people that I think everybody, we talked about this during OCIA. I mean, everybody has their own gift. They're given their gift. You might not know what that gift is yet. You may never know what that gift is. But if you can live the best life that you're doing to spread the word and just live the way you're supposed to live, that is a gift in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, I mean, I love watching it, and I've had other people say, well, Daren used to, talk about Tergo, but now it seems like he's talking more about his faith than anything. And I was like, but that's important to Daren, right? Yeah. And so, he does both. But for you, it's like, man, you got me into other Instagram accounts and Facebook accounts that are the similar way. And I like it because, you know how social media is, right? You hover over a joke, or you hover over an English bulldog, or you hover over somebody in a bikini too long, and then the whole platform changes, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, man, you got to get back to this. But, I do like the fact that everything I see, like I said, the Slaking Thirst podcast, and there's others now that I follow and listen to, and Father Mike Schmitz and Bishop Aaron, and all these, that now my whole feed is English bulldogs because of my dog, and faith-based stuff. And I love it because it just goes to show that people are out there trying to spread the word, whether it's Catholic or another, religion. They're trying. And as you know, you probably saw this, the Catholic religion had one of the biggest influxes in century, I think it was, or something like that.
Long time.
Yeah. I actually do make a testament to you and to other people who are spreading the word through digital marketing, because word of mouth, walking down the street, you probably could get punched for it, right? But you can do what you're doing, and people are sending you messages.
Yeah, and so a lot of people, I've seen street preachers just go to these events and just rile people up.
Yeah,
they're street preaching. That's not me. You're gonna tell that I'm Catholic just by the conversation that we're having,
right?
I'm not gonna slam anything down your throat or anything. But I think that's important, is that trait, or that virtue that we're talking about, is humility. I think I don't need a megaphone or anything, but I'm going to share what I'm doing. I'll record a Hail Mary and post it on Instagram. No problem.
And you have
someone might need that today.
Yeah.
So, it's been quite a journey, and it took 6 months of reflecting, because I took a 6-month hiatus on Instagram, couple of years ago, like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I realized I have a platform to share some really important things about faith. So that's why I'm doing it.
But and also outside of faith, though, I mean, I don't know that you do too much of Daren's diaries anymore, but you had that in a moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you wanted to help other people too.
Yeah.
I think that's God speaking through somebody. You went through it. You found a path to help other people. Now you're changing it maybe a little bit, but you're still helping other people.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think it's going to go? Where do you want it to go? Where do you think God's going to send it to?
Through my business. I really think the business idea came to me years ago. Driving down the road, it just planted in me a seed. I don't think it was my idea.
Yeah.
I think the Holy Spirit just said, this is an idea and you're supposed to run with it, because I couldn't shake.
Yeah.
So I'm starting this, the business has been going for about 2 years, and through every roadblock, there's been a solve for it.
Yeah.
And I reflect on it like, okay, then this is meant for me. So I'm going to have this business that goes nationwide. How can I integrate my faith, my virtues into this business? So that's what I've been told, basically. Keep going on. Like, that's probably the best advice that I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing you take from this podcast, it's just keep going. If as long as you keep going, you're going to have an opportunity to share your faith with the people you employ, with all your clients. And it's going to be a nationwide opportunity.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while. It's going to take a lot of suffering and a lot of challenges. And I don't even know what those challenges are going to be yet.
But that's okay. You're equipped to deal with them.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, is that this faith that everyone can have gives you every tool you need to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done it. I mean, in the last year, I pray on it, right? Or whatever. I went through some meditation with Joe Dispenza. Now he's mentioned that he doesn't talk about God and Jesus in his meditations, but that's who it's for, is what he's saying. And when you look at it and you see some of the meditations that happen out there, like Hallow has a really good meditation app that it's funny, because I put it on the other day, and it was like, okay, now you're envision yourself sitting at the table with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and bring your problem or whatever you feel at this time to the table and put it on the table. And you set it for as long as you want. It could be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes. And it's just silence, just a little bit of water in the background, kind of like white noise. And every time you start to stray, you just bring yourself back to the table, right? And I literally do. I'm like sitting there with, I feel like I'm sitting there with 3 people, right?
Yeah.
And you're meditating on what you're there for. And I think the biggest thing is people pray for them, right? But they don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
So in that moment, you're the seeds planted. You obviously listened, and you still listen. How do you get yourself to listen after you pray?
There's a little known thing, many Catholics know about it. I think you know about it. That is, I wish everyone knew this meditation, and it's called adoration. It's in front of the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ. I go to adoration at least 4 times a week.
Okay.
And this morning I had to sleep in. I was dead yesterday, so I slept in and only got 10 minutes adoration. Okay. Find a church near your house that has an adoration, and just go sit. And so let me give you an idea of what it's like. You walk in and you see this an altar, and I forget what they call it, but anyway, it's a big gold vessel with a piece of bread in it.
Yeah.
Okay. And what Catholics believe is that is a consecrated host, and it is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ. So you have an opportunity to sit with the physical Jesus and close your eyes and say, what do you want to say?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Now your mind's going to be racing, like you said. You might be out of breath because you just walked up some steps or whatever, just got out of the car. So sit there for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And that's the ultimate meditation. I've done, the Joe Dispenza meditations and any other, secular meditations, but I've gained the skills necessary to actually focus my brain enough that I can hear God speak. So when you walk into adoration, you might not hear anything for, the first few times, but then there's that one time like, whoa, okay, that was powerful. It didn't come from me.
Yep.
And when you get one of those messages, you're going to execute.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt. There's no fear. You heard it and it's time to go. And I journal, after my adorations to see what I heard. And I'm going to say I'd say half the time I hear nothing.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's all right. But then the other half of the time I hear something pretty cool. Half the time I hear something, an affirmation. I hear, what do I do? Ask the question, what do I do next?
Yeah.
Hey, I got this problem. What do I do with it? And just sit there and realize it. So I urge you to try an adoration. Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Mostly you're going to see a bunch of old ladies in there crocheting or praying a rosary or reading a book. But
they're sitting there with
it's pretty cool. So look up an adoration. The Catholic Diocese website lists them all. There's always a Catholic church near you, so go try if you want the ultimate meditation.
Yeah,
go try an adoration, and the things that you hear that are directly from God, you won't doubt. You'll just execute.
The funny thing is, I've done it twice now, and I need to take it to the adoration chapel. I've done 2 business meetings with Jesus.
Nice.
I think they're going pretty well. You sit down and I write down what I want to bring to the table. And usually it's when the dog isn't around, he's not home. I send it to the ex-wife, and I don't have any distractions. I put my phone on silent, no music, nothing. I just sit at the table and I go, okay, let's have this conversation, right, about what I need to do. And it's work related and, or idea related based around work. And I sit there with it. And actually it's led me to put a different spin on things, like Fog and Fire, which is my reflection brand, is now going to be Fog and Fire Digital, which is built to help Catholic parishes and faith-based entrepreneurs to share their stories better through social media and digital marketing. And I think it's much needed because we see other people, we see them spreading the word and people are following, right? And the days of, like I said, we'll just use Cam's Corners, for example, the pastor, the priest running the streets, talking to everybody and bringing them to church, you can't do it as much anymore because of life we live in. So you have to find a different path. And even the Catholic Church has 2024 basically put out a whole guide on how to use social media to evangelize. And so, I need to bring all that back. I sit with it, but I should do it in adoration because really listen, and I know Our Lady of the Angels has a nice chapel for it, and
I've been there.
Yeah. And it's a good one, and trying to visit a few others too.
I love visiting Catholic churches in the area. If I travel, I'll visit any Catholic. I love seeing Catholic churches are beautiful.
Yeah.
So peaceful and elegant.
No matter where you are.
Yeah.
But Daren, how can they find you, man? I mean, obviously it's on social media.
Yeah, Daren's Diary is pretty simple. My name's spelled DarenSdiaries. Yeah,
I don't know. Daren's Diaries. We'll get it there. I'll put it. Well, man, I appreciate you and bless you and praise you and everything you do. You're speaking the word when others aren't. So I appreciate that.
Amen. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, we went a little long. That's good. 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the next